What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, you guys see I did a video, and I'm talking about the big four of the heavyweight division and my thoughts on them and how I view them as fighters. And not all-time greats. Not one of the four. But I say Usyk is the best heavyweight of this heavyweight era, of his era, okay? And until someone beats him, that's the way it stands. And I feel like only a fool would debate that. Reason being, who's beaten Usyk? Who? Now, I have made it clear, don't get me wrong, I have made it clear that I feel like Daniel Dubois folded him with the body shot and the fight should have been over because basically he never got hit in his nuts. And I've said that from day one. So yeah, if the ref, as far as I'm concerned, did his job properly because he didn't get hit in his balls. Okay? My eye is right here. If a rock flew in his window right now and hit me right here, and I say I got hit in the eye, and we can sit here and rewind the video and see that I clearly got hit here. Now, the correct thing is I can say I got hit in my face. But to say I got hit in my eye when the motherfucker hit me here, and you telling me I got hit so hard and my damn chin with the rock that I thought I got hit in my eye? Now, the only difference with saying that is we can't, we know, okay, if you saw the fight, from every angle, when you saw the blow was nowhere near that man's balls. We know that. Only the fools, only the Usyk diehard idiots, the minions, everybody that's a minion will always lie for the fighter that they like, no matter what. It can be proven. And like I said, the only difference would be if I got hit here, and let's say I got hit hard enough where it made me swell, then you could see that I got hit in the jaw, not the eye. Okay, and you can see my eyes not swollen. Nobody's trying to look at that man's nuts to see if they're swollen, but we know he didn't get hit in his nuts. We know he didn't. We saw what happened. Okay, but at the same time, I still feel like once Dubois got up, he should have been thinking, man, all right, I got to do it again, or bottom line, I have to take control of this fight. Like, I have to, because it's not like he was winning the fight, but bottom line, I don't care if you lose every round and get even a lucky punch. A win is a win when it's legit. And I felt like they robbed that man of his opportunity because he clearly rocked him with the body shot. But being that those things happen, which is unfortunate, but bottom line, referee went for it. And like I said, the same amount of time that Usyk had to recover, so did Dubois. But Dubois Dubois, he went out there and afterwards it's like he just fell apart. It was like everything inside of him just said, damn, that was my chance. I blew it. The referee blew it for me. Nah, man, you gotta, come on. You gonna let this man come back and do to you what you claim he couldn't do? And Usyk got up and Usyk said, okay, I got over. The ref went for it. Fuck it. I gotta get this motherfucker out of here. I'm gonna punish him now. And look at what happened once Usyk got up. Okay. The fight went the way it went. So bottom line, what I'm saying, Usyk was the one down on the floor from a blow. Dubois was in the corner. Should have been over there, recouping. He's not the one that got hit. Usyk went there and he turned up. And Dubois didn't turn up. I'm just saying, that's the way the shit went. So, clearly, I'm going to speak the truth of what I feel or what I see. I don't make up shit to defend a fighter. I say what's real. So last night, I'm on a call with someone on TikTok. And the same video I posted, someone asked me how I felt about the current crop of heavyweights. Like, how do I see them? And I told them, I said, let me narrow it down to the big four. It was a long-ass conversation. It was about 5 or 6 people come on. And this one guy comes in, and he goes, well, Aries, I respect your your breakdown of the fighters, but I I disagree on Usyk being the best. I think Moses, what's his name? Moses Itauma would destroy Usyk, and this and this and this and this and this. So I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. You agreeing with me or not doesn't mean shit. No, I'm just saying, because everybody thinks Usyk's this great fighter and Usyk's this and that, but Usyk's overrated. So now I say, okay, wait. The whole panel chewed his ass up, but I'm like, no, let me get him. I'm like, you say Usyk is overrated. Now, I don't see him as an all-time great, and I made that clear. I just don't see him. I don't see any of them that way. I look at them opposed to their era. And I listen to people say things like, oh, the training and the conditioning and all that they have now. They always say that about basketball players and football players. They act like boxing, it doesn't matter. Then they bring it up in boxing when they want to say that this generation is better than the old generation because of. But this generation, these fighters can barely go fucking 12 rounds. They're gassed out by round 10. These fighters in the past was going 15 without all of this extra technology. So how's that coming to play? Right. Well, I mean, and I feel like a lot of people just want to just talk just to be heard. And they come with all this word salad. They said a bunch of nothing. And I said, listen, let's stick to you saying Usyk is overrated, right? Okay. Now, what I'm saying, you said you think Moses Itauma will beat Usyk. You just sat here and said Deontay Wilder is overrated, but Usyk's scared to fight. Where did you get that? Where are you getting these days? Well, because he fought the other three, and I'm like, okay, did or did not Deontay Wilder just get smoked out his boots by Joseph Parker and then got knocked out by Zhang Zhang? Well, yeah, but to his credit, he fought them, and Usyk did. I'm like, all right, see, what you're doing, man, is you coming with this bullshit logic of who didn't fight who and why. First of all, there's nothing that Deontay Wilder, he's lost, what? He's won one fight in his last 5 fights. There's nothing in Deontay Arsenal's repertoire. Fuck his right hand. Joseph Parker showed you that. I said, question, do you think Joseph Parker would beat Usyk? He goes, well, actually, yeah. Okay, wait. Now, let me say this. I might not have said this part already. He said to me, he agrees with me about Joshua, Fury, and then he says Wilder, but he says that Usyk is scared to fight him simply because he fought AJ twice, right? He fought Fury twice, but he never fought Wilder. And I said, I can tell you don't keep up with the sport, man. You sound like a person that go from channel to channel and listen to arguments, and then you take bits and pieces of what people are saying and what you like. Now you want to come on and talk about it as if you know this. I said, man, have you been paying attention to what's been going on with Wilder? I said, so let me ask you something. I said, if you go to work, right, and let's say you do a full week, but you do 16 hours overtime. Your co-workers who didn't do any overtime have the same amount of money on their check as you. Isn't that a problem? Not that you care about their check, but you like, wait, let's look at principle. How the fuck, if you got 2 days pay, full 2 full days pay extra, and your co-workers have the same amount of money as you, and y'all make the same amount of money per hour, why did you have to do overtime to get to that, to your pay, and then they didn't, but they got the same? You don't see something fishy with that? Well, yeah, okay. So how the fuck do you reward a loser? Someone who's won one fight out of their last 5. Please tell me how this warrants a title shot. So when you say that Usyk is scared of Wilder, where are you getting this from? Well, I mean, I'm like, no. Do you understand that Anthony Joshua also had a title, right? He had belts. I said, and for Usyk, right? Usyk took his belts. So being that Anthony Joshua was the champion, he had 3 belts, right? I said that was in a rematch clause was in the contract. Do you understand that? Okay, right. So how the fuck did Usyk avoid Deontay Wilder? Now, who had that other belt? Tyson Fury. So why the fuck would Usyk go fight the loser and Deontay Wilder, who had nothing to offer other than just saying, okay, Fury just beat him 3 times, pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, but he beat him. Now I just beat a man that just lost. Would you go after the fucking champion or the fucking guy that the champion beat if you want to be champion? Well, I'm like, man, that's a simple answer. This is what I mean about this generation, man. People are just getting dumber by the moment, but they love to hear their own voice talking. So I wanted to clear the air on this because it's like, I don't care about your opinion, but you guys just say things now that mean nothing, has no merit behind it. It's bullshit. So not only that, why did you say you agree with me about Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder just to turn around and start making excuses for Deontay Wilder, saying that Usyk is scared to fight him? Where did this shit come from? Then you said, to be fair, if you really look at it, he says, Anthony Joshua, Fury, and Wilder, like, if you look at their resumes are not that good anyway. And wait. Now, and it's like, I already know you don't know shit about boxing. AJ has the best resume in the heavyweight division. The very best resume. Did he win every single fight? No, he has lost some. But he has the best resume. Okay? And pretty much, AJ has been doing nothing but fighting the top guys since he's come in. When he got the belt, he didn't go backwards. No, fights don't happen at times. And see, the problem with people like you, I saw what you're saying, you're, for whatever reason, just picking a side. But you're not speaking facts at all. Then two, if none of them have the resume, you do realize Moses Itauma is an up-and-coming guy. He's a fucking prospect. So why in the fuck would Usyk even be looking at Moses Itauma at this point? I said, are you one of these people that say Floyd fought people when they were either too old or too young? He starts laughing. No, I know Floyd's the GOAT. He's TBE. And I said, I ain't asked you that. I asked you, are you one of those people? He took a long pause and then he said, no. Well, I do think that, Canelo was a prospect. I said, Canelo was a prospect, huh? Canelo had over 40 fucking professional fights, and you call that man a prospect. Somehow, you don't see Moses Itauma as a prospect. What the fuck are you even talking about, man? Then I said, are you a Jake Paul fan? Well, yeah. Okay, all right. Do you watch the Misfits at all? Do you like the Misfits? Well, yeah, okay. That's why you're a casual. You don't know shit about boxing. I said, listen, I'm roasting you because I'm trying to educate you on what's really going on. I'm not roasting you to make fun of you. You called in here and you basically sat here and said all of this shit that makes no sense. Moses, I don't even remember how many fights Moses Itauma had, but it's nowhere close to. He's a prospect. He's an up and coming guy. How in the hell did you just sit here and say a 23-year-old Canelo Alvarez with over 40 fucking fights and many people thought was going to beat Floyd? Too young, strong. Floyd's not going to be able to play with him. Floyd this and that. Floyd's over his. Floyd's not. He's 30. They mentioned his age when they was confident that Canelo was going to win. It's funny how Floyd's age didn't come up at all after he went there and spanked him. But Canelo's did. It went from him being young, strong, equally as good as Floyd. He's very poised, very calm, very patient. He doesn't waste punches. He's very, very highly skilled. He's way ahead of his time. But then, he's wise beyond his years and all these things they said about him in the ring. His ring maturity, his ring IQ, everything. Then they went from saying that to talk about Floyd is a defensive wizard and all this. Stop this defensive wizard shit. Because even though it's true that he's highly skilled all around the board, Floyd has no weaknesses. See, that's the thing. But bottom line is, he stood there in front of this motherfucker. and beat Canelo's ass. So let's not make it like he went in there and just used all defense and like, no, Floyd beat him to the punch. He was first when he needed to be. He counted when he needed to be. He went in there and embarrassed him. And not one fucking person on two fucking legs that I hear say the same shit I said. Well, 50 Cent was the only one that said it. I think he's going to beat the brakes off. And my thing was, I said, I don't see anything about Canelo. I don't see anything about any one of these fucking fighters. None of them. That Pacquiao included, that they have anything that they're going to bring to Floyd, that Floyd he's just not going to be able to handle. And he showed it. And they try to discredit him by talking his defensive wizard shit. Like, you know, him slipping punches is causing your face to swell up and all that, and you bust your lips up and all of that. So they always want to try to make excuses as to why someone lost. But then you turn around when it's someone that you like, and you're taking a prospect. Yeah, Moses Itauma is a prospect. So why in the fuck are you saying that Usyk, you think he'll beat Usyk, and Usyk knows he's a threat? That's why Usyk doesn't mention his name. Usyk doesn't mention anybody's name. People come to Usyk and ask Usyk who would he like to fight. I don't care. He said the same shit. When someone brings up the name, sure, fine, no problem. There is absolutely nothing about what this guy said. Nothing that made any sense, that even gave him. I don't even feel like he believes the words that came out of his own mouth. What can you actually say that happened that makes you come to these conclusions, other than the fact that certain fights didn't happen? How do you say Usyk? Do you realize Usyk is acknowledged not just by me, and I'm not a part of any group, and I'm no ass kisser, but people just globally know Usyk is not known for turning down challenges. He's never said what Lomachenko said. Why should I fight this guy? Money? I'm not motivated. No, Usyk has never even said that bullshit. You hear me say things, even like, let me make a clear example of something that I've already made an example of, but I want to make this clear. When you hear me say, all of these fighters want their money, you damn right they do. That's their job. Why would you not want your money? But you never heard Marvin fucking Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran, Wilfredo Benitez, Kid Gavilan, Jack Johnson, Jolo. You never heard none of these fucking fighters say, I'm at a point where I can do what I want to do. I don't care how these fans feel. I don't care what they say. Fuck them. You never heard none of them say, I do what I want to do, and I am Mexican. You never heard none of them say that shit. Those motherfuckers really wanted to be the best. Michael Nunn, people, he had boring fights. Bullshit. Michael Nunn, right now, people watch old Michael Nunn fights and go, yo, why was they talking shit? This dude was excellent. Yeah, exactly. Y'all praise James Toney. Michael Nunn was spanking James Toney. Was outboxing him all fucking night long. Got tired, and all that matters is that James won. But if Michael Nunn was a boring fighter, not a good fighter, there's no way in hell he should have had such a wide margin over James Toney. He should have been that. It should have been back and forth, neck and neck or whatever. And if for James Toney to be the way people rate him, and James Toney was a solid fighter. But for him to be so much better than Nunn, it shouldn't have been a close fight at all. And Michael Nunn was clearly dominating, was winning that fight by far on the scorecards. Okay. At the same time, what I'm telling you is, when fighters get to that point where it becomes about the money for them, to the point where they won't fight certain fighters because they're in the position that they used to be in, right? But at the same time, that person even has a belt, or that person, like, I want everybody to know, like, here's my thing. I can't get the challengers that I need to go to the next level. Now somebody's calling you out and they have a belt. Now you have a reason. If the money is solely the reason, fighters like that find out when they're matched up against someone that's like, yeah, I want the money and I want to win. And that's where y'all get Floyd fucked up. Floyd was about the money and his legacy. Floyd wasn't scared to fight none of those motherfuckers. Y'all make that bullshit up. Floyd was scared. Floyd was this. Just like fucking Schofield's dad is saying the reason that Tank Davis is talking about retiring is because he's scared to fight Floyd Schofield. I respect Floyd Schofield's skills in the ring. He's up and coming. He's not fully polished yet. If he's already peaked, then yeah, he has problems going forward because he still has a lot of room for improvement. That's him talking shit, trying to get his son name out there. Why would Tank Davis have any reason? What have you seen in Floyd Schofield's repertoire that Tank Davis needs to worry about? So now a Floyd Schofield fan or just a Tank Davis hater will hear those very words and then go and repeat it and say it like as if it's facts because they want it to be true. Look, at the end of the day, people talk a lot of shit that don't make any sense. And I'm making this video for the sake of, I want to bring awareness to this kind of shit, that this is what's happening. You have people that don't even watch boxing. It's like that motherfucker that defend God, defend the Bible, but don't even read the motherfucker, don't go to church or nothing, but will tell you God is real, and I know because I have my own personal experiences. And when you start asking them about different scriptures, and they don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Well, I don't read okay, so shut the fuck up, because you don't, everybody has their own experience. Everybody, look, pimps walk around here saying, Lord, thank you for this boatload of booty of bitches that you just sent me. Motherfuckers are making porn. Lord, thank you for these hoes, because I'm a rich nigga because of this shit. These hoes in here sucking and fucking it, man. Shit, I done made $2.5 million this year. Fuck. Thank you, Lord. Had to be God. Okay? Slave owners was grateful to God for giving them slaves. So anybody can say, I'm religious, I believe in this and this and that, and because I had my personal experiences, I know God is real. And I know, you don't even fucking know what the Bible says. So you are doing a whole lot of shit the Bible says that you shouldn't do, but you don't realize it because of. Like, they don't understand nothing. So how the fuck can you sit here? And I asked him, how many times have you seen Usyk fight? He said he saw highlights of him and AJ, and he saw highlights of him and... So you never even watched the full fight. He goes, well, no. Okay, how many Deontay Wilder fight? So in short, he's never seen an actual full-length, the actual full-length fight with Wilder and anybody, Fury and anybody. He watches highlights. I told you this is what this generation is. And I told him, you do realize highlights can be edited to make it look like one fighter did better than the other. And I said, do you know who Clarissa Shields is? He goes, oh, she's an excellent fighter. I said, how many fighters have you seen? How many of her fights have you seen? Well, I saw the highlights of her and I think the British girl. But have you ever seen a full... So you just said she's excellent, probably because you think that's what I'd say. Well, I mean, I hear that. I'm like, see, all right, long story short, y'all. This is part of it why I really look at what's happening in boxing, and I'm like, man, this is why fight fans lose interest in fighting or different genres in general. Whether it's music, movies, or whatever, because it gets to a point where something becomes so watered down. And they remember when this shit at least had some respect on it. To where it's like, it's just all over the place, no structure to it. And people are saying someone sucked, but you never even watched the full fight. Someone's excellent, but you never even watched the full fight. Someone's resume is better than somebody else's, but you never watched the full fight. Here's where it gets even worse. But it's the same exact thing. I said, have you ever seen Moses Itauma fight? A full fight. And whoever he fought, tell me what you saw. Well, no, I saw highlights, but like a lot of people, like I have two British friends, and I'm like, okay, see, let me stop you right there. This is exactly my point. You're speaking what you don't know. And I told you from the very beginning of this conversation, I can tell you don't know what you're talking about. From the very beginning. You saying guys who, I agree with you that Deontay Wilder's resume is weak, and then even though later on the Zangs, the Parkers, and Fury before them, come on, okay, but you see, he lost all of those fights. He's beaten no significant heavyweight. I give you that. Fury also had a very weak resume. But him running around against Klitschko all night long and barely throwing anything and just doing enough to win, it was one of the most boring heavyweight fights I ever saw, which is why it makes me laugh when people call the Klitschko's boring, but that win by Fury fans try to make it seem like it was golden. And it was one of the most boring fights I've ever saw. But the funny thing is, Usyk has beaten Fury twice. He's beaten AJ twice. He has no reason to actually fight Deontay Wilder other than just saying, okay, nail in the coffin, I beat the big three. Why would you want to see him go after a guy? Do you think somebody that won one of their last 5 fights deserves a championship? And he goes, I didn't know he only won 1 of his last 5. This is my point. But you're speaking as if you know boxing and what's going on. They clearly don't. You see how someone take the best of an era and they want to debate it because they don't like that person for whatever reason, or maybe they were a part of certain conversations where they just got so invested into it that now they don't want to feel like a hypocrite, but they make themselves, okay, they expose themselves for being hypocrites with their own words. And I'm wondering, I asked myself, why did you even call into this show, man? Why? Why did you even call into and everybody on the panel was because it was pretty much yeah, this is a done deal. I'm yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say. Man, you got to do your homework on things, man. You for you to sit here and make claims and defend something, you have to know what you're talking about. And the problem is everybody thinks that their opinions are facts. At least when your opinions are based on the facts, you'll make sense. You only don't make sense to people that are irrational and delusional. And it's fucking futile for you to sit here and keep bringing up the same points about, oh, well, but trying to make comparisons, and you're calling one guy a fucking said Canelo was a prospect when he fought Floyd, was a complete lie, an absolute lie. And this is why even the guy that Crawford fought, he only had 11 pro fights. Oh, but he had a whole lot of amateur experience. How many times have you heard the same people say shit like beating somebody in the amateurs is not the same as the pros? It all depends on whose side they're on and which fighter has, the type of career and resume where if you're saying these things, you're going to be exposed quicker. It's easier to spot the hypocrisy. That's the only fucking real difference with that. Because when you sit up here and say, oh, he was a prospect, and here's a guy who was not even close to having 40 fucking fights, not even 30 or 20. He's a fucking prospect, man. How the fuck is he not? And that's the claim, that Usyk never fought Wilder because he's scared of him. And then he says Usyk doesn't mention Moses Itauma's name because he knows that he's a threat. He knows that guy can beat him. I've seen Moses Itauma fight, and I'm like, oh yeah, he gets the knockout. I've seen him being called the British Mike Tyson and all of this, and okay, whatever. Where did you get this idea, though? You obviously don't study boxing. You don't really break things down and look. You're just talking. This is what this generation brings. People love to talk, and I can tell listening to him talk, he's one of these people that probably is just like mouth almighty, and people listen to him and think that he's telling them something solid, because he was all over the place and everything was, well, I think, well, or could it be? I don't know. You tell me. You're the one made the claim. You tell me. You listen. Here's my thing. I tell people all the time, you never know what's going to happen when two fighters get in the ring. A lot of fights, it's like on paper or going off their last performance. That's what you got. I don't really look. That's what you're going by. You can even be in training camp with the fighter, and they can look sharp and look ready, and you have confidence in them. But you still don't know what may happen come fight night. And this guy obviously have no idea. And I didn't make it. It wasn't. I had no. It wasn't necessary for me to even say. But I could have, just to further my point. He has no idea that AJ is the heavyweight that I want to see win over all these other heavyweights. And I'm saying AJ's not an all-time great. He's not being consistent enough. And I feel like, you see, once the money and something becomes greater than what it used to be, and the more money people make and they get, a lot of times they get to the point where they don't have that hunger anymore. But when you keep talking shit and making claims about how you want to fight 3-4 times a year and how you're not done yet, we still got a lot left and all that, but every time, the savagery is back or whatever, all these different things that fighters say. But then you get in the ring and look mediocre. And then you got fucking trainers sitting there talking about how you do everything excellent in training camp, but for some reason, and the fights that you lose, it just didn't come out. Okay, then you're inconsistent also. Where's the professionalism? But you've never shown anything great other than just got a good right hand and you able to knock out the people that you knocked out. How many quality opponents have you beaten? Zero. And here's the thing. When you call somebody 36 years old, right? Because you wanted them to win and he lost to a 23-year-old. It's so funny how Floyd went from being called old because, like I said, everybody thought, like, for all of the people that thought that Canelo was going to do it, then it didn't happen. You know what you never heard after that? Nobody called this man old again. And they never brought that up again. And they never wanted to even have it known that to people that, they don't like when you said he was old. See, the things that they thought was going to work against Floyd, nah. And Floyd stretched it out to be 38 and was still solid, was still the best fighter in the world, still. And at the same time, what happened? They didn't bring his age up when he was 37. They didn't bring it up again when he's 38. They never bring it up in conversations now. But they'll say somebody else is old. And now, like example, how Terrence Crawford is considered the best fighter in the world. Okay, cool, no problem. But if Terrence Crawford goes out, have a fight and gets knocked out, those very people going to say, well, Crawford's 38, you got to consider it, right? And you know it's going to piss them off because they're going to say, well, damn, Floyd won his last fight when he's 38 and then came back at 40 and beat Conor and made $300 million. Crawford can't make $20 million in one fight, and that's what he was begging for against Jerron Boots Ennis. Then at 38, he got knocked out. You see what I'm saying to you? That's excuses. So take away what people say. I look at what's in front of me. That's what I go by. And that's why my videos are never going to sound like everybody else's, because I'm speaking what's real. How stupid would I sound sitting here trying to tell myself or anybody else Anthony Joshua is still the best heavyweight out here? His two performances before him going in there looking like a complete buffoon against Daniel Dubois, it's like, that AJ. See, and this is my point. Which AJ is going to show up? He's too inconsistent, man. So this is not about trying to prove Wilder haters wrong or Fury haters. I give a fuck about that. That's your childish bullshit argument. I'm looking at boxing. I'm not linked into this shit that y'all are linked into. I'm looking at what's really real. And what I'm telling you, when I hear these people making these claims and talking, and it's not just this one guy, it's just in general. I listen to people talking on different shows, and I don't always comment because really I'm like, what are these people smoking or sticking into their veins, man? You cannot really believe this shit you're saying. In closing, let me say this, and I'm going to make this really clear. And I don't even have to, but I know the smart ones get it. There's always the airheads that don't. I was 17 years old. There was a guy who was like 29, 30. And he used to always, like, this is when people used to come out and go from street to street, and they would just challenge. We was doing that since we was like 10, 11 years old. But they were always doing that. And this particular guy, right, he had hands, but the guys that he was knocking out, he was bigger than those guys, stronger than those guys. Those guys wasn't even going to a gym or nothing. So he's just beating up just regular everyday citizens that motherfuckers don't even jog, nothing. And people was afraid of him. And he never did that kick challenge me or anything or nothing like that, but I watched him do this shit to people for like years. So now I'm 17, but I got some size on me. I'm not, and I remember we were outside. Now, he never ever walked to me and, yo, let's rumble. Like, because that's what we used to do. Let's rumble. And we would walk up and hand the person we wanted to box their gloves. And let's rumble. One of the things that with us is it wasn't fun for us. So we did this shit. It was only fun amongst people that fought. What do I gain? I mean, I'm not even getting work in sparring somebody that don't know how to box. So he was just a bully, and he had an ego. Now, because of his age to me, and in his mind, it's like, well, they're kids to me. But I knew it was something that he knew. Like, it was something about me. He never came up to me and did that. So one day we outside, and man, I mean, it's probably like a good maybe 150 people outside. Like literally, it was like, so different people done got gloves. I remember somebody had a brand new, yo, I got the new, and people wasn't paying attention to sizes or nothing. So these motherfuckers buying like 8-10 ounce gloves and shit and all that. We had no head guards, no nothing, whatever. Motherfuckers ain't have mouthpieces and shit, hand wraps and none of that. They ain't, So we was trying to teach, we were teaching certain people how to box, man, how to, defend themselves. But this dude, that particular day, he was really feeling himself, right? He knocked this one dude out. That dude started having a seizure. He started having a seizure, all right? And people were like, oh shit, but nobody's trying to, help him or nothing. And I remember this lady was like, what's going on? And she came outside, and I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later, the ambulance came, and she was down. I heard her tell her, I'm a nurse, this and that, whatever. And they took him, and this dude, okay, I'm not gonna get into, the guy was all right, but I got revenge for him. That shit went all over my body. The look on his face, how he walking around over here like, yeah, I just sent the nigga to the hospital. Like, that shit went all over my body. And I'm looking at this motherfucker like, and he see me looking at him. And when he's like, yo, who want to rumble? Who like, yo, but he goes and try to hand the gloves to and the dude was like, nah. And they's like, nah, chill, man, because the little dude was looking like, smiling, and he's like, he don't want to put these gloves. He's like, nah. I said, fuck that, man. I went over there, I took the gloves. And I promise y'all, when he saw me walking over to dude, he started taking his gloves. I'm like, nah, let's rumble. And everybody like, oh, shit. Oh, they start hyping it up or whatever. And long story short, I can see in his face he didn't want to do it. But he, all right. So he walked around hitting himself and all that shit. I don't know how long it was, but I know it was under a minute. I stretched him. And he was laying with his face on the ground, his arm like this, and his ass crooked, all right? And when I knocked his ass out, I just walked and stood over him, took my gloves off, and just dropped them on him. Because I was disgusted with what he did. Somebody had the nerve to say, not to me, they said it to one of my homies. It's like, yo, I thought that was the one dude that Aries ain't want to fuck with, like, and then I found out why he got punched in his face. Punched him right in his mouth. My point, y'all, this dude is like I said, 29 or 30 years old. At this point, I'm 17, which means all the years of me seeing this, I was a little kid. I was a kid. And I never was afraid of him I was never afraid of no fucking body. My point, by the time, let me tell you something. By the time I was 16, it was, listen, at 16, yeah, people was like, nah, this dude is a problem. Like, nah. He was one of these dudes that was a bully. We were teaching people. The people that I was throwing hands with other people in the gym, other people that could fight, that could box, that was doing the same thing I was doing. Not some up and coming random, no. And I wasn't out here taking tack on smaller guys. So at 17, let's just say that my full man strength haven't even kicked in yet, but I'm strong enough to knock out grown men with one punch, heavyweights and all. You understand what I'm saying? I had size on me, like I said. Me and this dude was like the same size. That dude he knocked out was probably 150 pounds or something like that, man. 100, maybe. I mean, he was a bully. This is what I'm saying. So me and him never boxing before that had nothing to do with fear. Not on my behalf. I know he knew, like, nah, this little motherfucker done got big, and he never called me out. So it wasn't no thing. But what I'm saying is, I never went to a non-fighter and sparred them. Why the fuck would I? And me looking at him, he had hands. I don't know what gym he went to or how far whatever. I don't know any of that. I just know that I can tell, yeah, he knew what he was doing, but he was a bully. So for someone to say, like, let's just say if I didn't do what I did, that person in their mind would have thought, like, yeah, Aries, that's one dude Aries ain't never called out. Motherfucker, did he ever call me out? And my point is, if not for that day, it might have been a situation where, hey, maybe just one of the dudes I never put hands on. And let me tell you something. Even though I can see he had hands, that motherfucker wasn't no threat to me. And this is what I'm saying. So at what point was I supposed to just walk up and randomly just call him out? I didn't see that motherfucker's on my level. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, I can see he had hands. Mind you, I'm still a fucking minor at 17. And the fact that this dumbass said what he said, that's why my dude punched him in his mouth. Why? This is what I like. The fact that people love to try to make claims just to support the idea of someone that they like more being superior to that person. It's baffling how someone can be so incredibly stupid. Like, if I sit here and give you data on something and I say I know, that means it's something that I carefully research and study, and I got the fundamentals of it. I know what I'm doing. Like, if you have a room, if you had 10,000 people in the room and yelled out, what's 9 times 9? And everybody yells 81, anybody who says anything other than 81 and then try to justify it, would you even have a reason to talk to that person? Because that person obviously don't know what they're talking about. Of course, opinions are subjective, which is why I tell people, when you have an opinion, at least make your opinion based off facts. There is nothing that I've ever heard come out of Wilder's mouth or Usyk's mouth or any interaction that make me think that Usyk, I don't see how anybody could just assume Usyk was just scared to fight him. Then turn around and say Usyk doesn't want to fight Moses Itauma. That's why he never calls his name, because he knows that Moses can beat him. That's your opinion that he can beat him, okay, but where do you get this? That's the reason that Usyk doesn't call his name. And where do you get that Usyk is afraid of Wilder? Where does this come from? That was my whole thing. Like, and that phone call, because I'm saying phone because I was on TikTok on my phone. But that conversation ended pretty much. He was the whole, do you think, listen, you keep asking me what I think. You're the one making the claims. I'm saying, could you please give us something that makes sense? At least something that I can say, okay, I can see why you think that. Nothing you said, I see why you even think anything close to what you say. You have to be this way with people. Because when you try to play that neutral shit where everybody's entitled, no. That's part of why the world is fucked up like it is. People walk around just saying random shit because they have the right to think whatever they want. So I can sit here and tell you, I don't care what y'all say. The moon is actually purple. It just appears to look white to y'all. The sun it appears to look white, but it's really purple. Shouldn't I have to support that claim with proof? Other than giving you my fucking opinion? So, this is the point what I'm saying. And everybody that speaks like their opinions are facts, 10 times out of 10 sound like an asshole. It's like Vernon Maxwell said, if Jordan wouldn't have left basketball and the Bulls would have played Houston at that time where they had Akeem Olajuwon, we'd have definitely beat them. Man, we had that big African man, and man, the team they wasn't going to beat it. It's easy to say that shit. It's very easy to say that shit. Why? Simply because it took the Bulls to not be there. And then he made a very flawed point by saying, just like they got there without Jordan. Right, but they lost without Jordan too. And this was after a three-peat. And when Jordan came back and got back in stride, they three-peated again. So it's really easy to say what would have happened. But other than Houston Rocket fans, diehards, and Jordan and Chicago Bull haters, there's nothing that I've seen Houston do that makes me think they would have beat the Bulls. I always liked the Spurs. And I tell you the same thing. There's nothing that I've seen the San Antonio Spurs do that make me think that they would have beat the Bulls. And people seem to forget. They act like these people didn't play in the same era of time. Like when a new player comes to a team and they get established later and then they set their own legacy. Me liking the Spurs, why would I sit here and say something that I don't believe? No, I don't believe any of those teams would have beat the Bulls, and that's why they didn't, because they couldn't. But because Jordan wasn't there, we can't prove who would have won, right? But it makes it give them a little bit more leeway to make a claim because they won those 2 championships. But guess what? They didn't beat no fucking Michael Jordan. They beat a fucking Scottie Pippen-led team, not a Michael Jordan-led team. So it's easy to say what you think would have fucking happened. How many people thought that shit before they three-peated? After they three-peated, how many people always thought they had a team that was going to beat the Bulls? But no. That's my whole thing. Your opinion is not even based off facts. And even for him to say that because they won is like, yeah. Is it just a coincidence that the Bulls got to the playoffs without Jordan? Nobody said it wasn't a great team, but guess what? Without Jordan, they lost. So what happened when Jordan came back? Why couldn't y'all beat them again? Now go ahead and make the excuse about, well, we lost this person. No, stop that bullshit. Stop it. Bottom line, people, we have a whole lot of people that talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. They have no proof for nothing they say, but they swear to you that what they're saying is real. And it's factual because they want it to be. It's not factual. And at the end of the day, if I tell you I think this fighter don't want smoke with that fighter, I will be able to tell you why. But it will be based on their actions, and I can explain why based on what they say and what they do. For me to just say because the fight never happened, okay, what are the details of why the fight never happened? There are no fucking details. It never happened. So even when they hear Malik Scott say they wanted to fight Usyk and they wanted to fight Zhang, okay, or was it Zhang, Usyk? He remember he said he prefer fighting Usyk over Fury because they fought already. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, he probably thought like other people he has an easier chance of beating Usyk than he does Fury. I mean, for that matter, when people talk about a puncher's chance, oh, that's the whole thing. A puncher's chance is only brought up because of a lack of skill. That's all. The one thing that you got to understand, for all the people that thought he was going to destroy Joseph Parker, and Parker did what he did, excuses were made. For all the people that thought he was going to beat Zhang, Zhang did what he did, excuses were made. And a lot of Wilder fans got pissed off because of all the shit they kept talking in 2 back-to-back losses. And what pissed them off probably even more than him losing was the fact of them being able to say that AJ won his last 2 and made it look good. And then here he comes and lose 2 back-to-back. And he's the reason why the fight between him and Fury, AJ didn't happen. And they got pissed off and started really saying how they really feel about Wilder. So they went from talking about taking a long layoff to coming back with a couple of tune-up fights and all this other. They're making all these plans for Wilder like this is his plans, right? And so when you look at it, it's like, no. And I gave my summary of the best possible solutions for him if he does really want to come back and make a 3-run fight. And I said that because he said it. I didn't say he should come back and do a fight 3 times. I'm saying if this is what he really wants to do, he can't afford another loss. And even in defeat, you got Turki Al-Sheikh trying to get him title shot opportunities at Bridgerweight. Why are you not putting the same effort into Joseph Parker, right? Now Joseph Parker's supposed to be fighting Dubois, so finally Joseph Parker gets gets a chance to, fulfill his dream of becoming champion again against Dubois. And and here's the funny thing. When I said to him, when Usyk got folded by that body shot by Dubois, I believe Dubois won at that moment, and they took it from him. You know what the guy said? Who's Dubois? All right. So saying somebody's scared because a fight didn't happen when there's no information as to why the fight didn't happen, where you getting that from? I mean, come on, y'all. This is crazy, but this is the generation we live in. So now we find out that Usyk was scared of Wilder. That's why he didn't fight him. Now Usyk is scared of Moses Itauma. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.